And we are live. Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, happy time zones wherever you might be. I'm Emma, welcome back to the House of Hubris here on Twitch.tv/Saracent. And welcome, I was about to say welcome back to, but this is something new. Welcome to the Excavation of Barrow. Yeah. I know we technically have at least one game that's still half played, but my brain is still having opinions about that, so instead we're moving on to something new that I've been meaning to check out for a while. I hear it's very good. And yeah, this is... I don't know much about it. I know that we are in old school point-and-click mode. It's by Wadget Eye, who do... They did Strangeland that we played a while back, and some of the best point-and-click games of the current era, frankly. They make some amazing stuff. And yeah, this one, I hear it deals with kind of British folk horror, which is a specific genre and aesthetic I'm a massive fan of. So, advance warning, this is a horror game. I flicked down the content warnings, so I believe topics related to self-harm and suicide. I don't know how they handle it, but obviously I've not played it. Gore, general dread. Yeah. Just so we're all prepared going in. Also, does this soundtrack not already absolutely bang? This sounds like every mid-budget 80s movie ever, and I love it. Let's get on with it before I just ramble more. New game. Obviously, playing something different, so let me know if the audio balances off or anything, because I can't always tell what you're hearing. Oh, straight in. We are this person with the parasol. Presumably lady. As we walk along a rainy street and somebody coughs. Oh. Here we have.
Ah, Miss Bateman. Welcome back to Ticehurst House. It's been quite some time.
Okay.
Terrible weather this evening, is it not?
Yeah, it depends what you like. Yeah, I've got this on click to advanced dialogue because I didn't know if it would be voiced. I might change that setting.
Nurse Blaketon has had enough of me smoking inside. Makes her cough, you see.
I love how that dates it immediately. Just back when smoking inside was a thing we were allowed to complain about not being able to do.
A bit of rain won't kill me, will it?
This looks like more than a bit of rain.
You mustn't be interested in me nattering on. Give my regards to your father. Nurse Blaketon is preparing his supper.
So, I mean, presumably hospital?
You look pale, Miss Bateman. Do head inside.
I'd love to. I can't currently leave this dialogue. Okay, what? Just hard cut into that? Oh yeah, the abrupt jump cuts also really have the feel of, like,
Dearest mother,
certain 70s and 80s horror films. Oh,
I
click
hope
to
this
advance,
letter
we
will
just
reach
said
you.
that.
I have spent these past years in torment, trying to piece together what remains of fractured memories.
I mean, haven't we all? It's been a long pandemic.
What I am about to recount to you will seem beyond comprehension, but I beg for your patience.
Having it on click to advanced dialogue does mean I have space to riff between lines, so, you know, that's always appreciated. Sheep. It's not a folk horror film until an animal looks at you accusingly.
To Ticehurst House that night. As far as I can recall, This whole wretched story started with the receipt of a letter from a Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
That's not a name. That's a joint. And his associate, Mr. Cuthbert Ankle, that's not a thing. Duh.
The letter brought me to the isolated village of Bewley, deep in the moors.
It's a real place.
No station master in sight. I hope the village isn't too far away. I can't recall our exact meeting place. Mr. Shoulder mentioned it in his letter.
Thanks for this narration. Just loudly talking to yourself on the station platform. Like a completely normal person. Okay, left click to walk, right click to examine. To access inventory and menu, move your mouse cursor to the top of the screen, old school. Left click on an inventory item to select it, right click to examine it. Right click to deselect it. Double click on an exit to teleport to it. The game will occasionally autosave. We have a map. We have a quick save that we won't use because we're not cowards. And a hotspot highlighter that we probably also won't use because we're not cowards. I don't know why I'm being harsh towards people. Use whatever features you like. I can say all kinds of things, but you shouldn't listen to them. Also, now I've just got Bewley Brothers by David Bowie stuck in my head. Let's look at these letters. Dear Miss Bateman, I write this letter. This is probably not how this man's going to sound at all. I write this letter in the hope of piquing your curiosity. I read about your expertise in barrows, and if I understand correctly, you're writing a book on them and the treasures they contain. I live in the village of Bewley, where a most special barrow can be found on the outskirts. I mean, we're in the moors. He almost certainly doesn't sound like this. It's rectangular in form and is certainly tall enough to stand up in. The place is steeped in local legend, and there is rumour of secrets to be found deep within. I hope you will not misunderstand me and find this letter intrusive. If you wish to visit Bewley and excavate the barrow, I will be pleased to be your guide. Please send your response to the Plough and Furrow Inn, Bewley. I shall await your letter. Yours respectfully, Mr. Leonard Shoulder, completely normal name. Oh, and another letter. Dear Miss Bateman, marvellous news. I shall meet you at 8 o'clock in the evening on the 14th of this new month at the Plough and Furrow Inn, Bewley. The inn has fine rooms which you will find adequate for your short stay. When we meet, I shall tell you more of the circumstances surrounding the site, which is referred to locally as Hobbs Barrow. It is not located on my own land, but we will have no issue gaining permission to excavate. I wish you a safe journey. Love that we will have no issue. Be fine. Be fine. Be fine. What could go wrong?
I must make my way to the Plough and Furrow Inn.
I know, I just said that. We also have a handkerchief.
A gift from my mother. It bears my initials, T.B.
Okay, we know the surname, so we are T. Bateman.
I have 6 shillings and 2 pence. My assistant Kenneth is bringing more funds tomorrow.
Okay, so we're pre-decimalisation, which, for those of you who don't know your British history minutiae, happened in 1971? When we reformed the money into something that was remotely sane.
I don't like travelling with too much money on me.
You there, local woman.
Excuse me?
Yes?
By the fashions, I would say we're in, like, the 10s or 20s, probably? I don't know, maybe later. I'm not good at this. Anyway. Tell me of this place.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Well, it used to be a thriving village. Not so much now. I don't spend much time there these days.
And judging by the accents, we say the moors. Unhelpfully, we've got moors either end of the country. Like, it could be Dartmoor and Exmoor in the southwest, or it could be the Yorkshire Moors in the north, which, by the accents, we are.
Are you local?
Ah, yes, a local I am, but I don't live in the village.
Okay, but do you know of the inn in the village?
I'm looking for the Plough and Furrow Inn. Do you know where I can find it?
Ah, young lady. Leave the station and follow the dry stone wall for around half a mile. You'll come to Bewley. Go straight ahead and you'll find the market square. The inn is t'other side at square.
To the side at square. There's something very pleasing to the ear about Northern English dialects. Because it's one of the cool things about this country. Sorry, apparently this game is going to be interrupted by a lot of me going on cultural and historical tangents. But yeah, I do think, I mean, as a linguist, it's really interesting how much accent and dialect variation we have across the length of this really comparatively small country, just because historically people didn't travel much. So you could be completely culturally isolated from basically the next town over. So you get little counties with very strong regional identities and definable accents. And it's interesting, to me. Also, this is partially because I have such a weird pan-English accent, because of being a linguist and trans and pretentious, and also my parents coming from different parts of the country. Yeah, I am an interesting mishmash of accents. Anyway, none of this is relevant.
Thank you very much. Where are you travelling to today?
That would be none of your business, young lady.
Wow, shut down.
Quite. Apologies. I wish you a pleasant journey.
Sign.
Bewley. I have great expectations for this Barrow.
Also, I love how her directions were basically follow this wall in the direction of town. Once you're in town, it's in the middle of town. Which makes sense. Let's leave.
So what brings you to Bewley?
Excuse me, your travel was none of our business.
I beg your pardon?
What brings you to Bewley, miss?
Tell the truth or lie? I mean, let's not disrespect the locals immediately, because going to a small town and immediately disrespecting the locals is how you die in every horror film.
I'm here to visit a local landmark, Hobbs Barrow.
Hobbs Barrow? Well, I can't say I've heard of it. For what reason?
I wish to excavate it.
It's quite literally the name of the game.
Grave robber, are you?
I mean, archaeologists, so yes, just in a fancier word.
Not at all. I merely have an interest in antiquities.
So the same, just in slightly fancier words.
Not much to be found in Bewley, if you ask me. You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Again, such a particular folk horror vibe of just go to small town, immediately be told to leave.
I'll take my chances.
And then you say no, and everybody's like, well, cool, guess you asked for everything that's coming.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
Yep, there it is.
That was odd.
You're not wrong. That mouse stutters back a bit, which is annoying. Bloody performance issues. Anyway. Yeah, to be fair, even if I didn't know we were Yorkshire from the accent, just like this landscape, that's very particularly the kind of wide open, just basically kind of meadowy wilderness that you frankly still get on the Yorkshire moors. It's got a very particular look to it. Anyway, let's throw something at this crow. Or just... Can we pick the crow up? No, the crow has escaped. Let's go and pester this
The old
person.
woman told me to go straight ahead to get to the inn.
The old woman also told you to leave and you didn't do that.
I'll have time to explore tomorrow.
Fine, I guess.
A humble dwelling.
AKA, I'm rich.
The
Anvil.
anvil looks heavy.
The anvil looks heavy. It's an anvil.
Being
I steal
raw
it?
metal into a fine object is an admirable skill.
I cannot steal it. I steal this bucket. Everybody needs a bucket in point and
Rusty
clicks.
and full of holes.
It's still a bucket. That usually just means you'll have to fix the bucket. Or you can steal it. I've said bucket too many times and now it just sounds like I'm making weird chicken noises.
A local cobbler.
Yeah, that does say shoes, doesn't it? There's a church up there.
A fine example of a church.
Oh, not just a church,
It
it's
looks
a
like
fine
it was built
example.
in the Norman style.
Yep, correct.
It looks like I'm in the market square. I should find the inn.
Fine. I'll stop trying to explore. What do we think about this monument?
Quite an ornate construction. This was created with pride and care.
So, it's nice, is what you're saying. Ah, the plough and furrow. And this man.
Hello there.
This very drunk man.
What's the young lady doing out alone in this sodding weather?
No, what about you?
What are you doing out in this weather?
Waiting for you, my dear.
Creepy.
I doubt that.
And I've waited long enough. So, give us a kiss now, won't you?
Very creepy. Please go away. Yeah. That's a camera angle I didn't need. Humor him, it usually works with men. No! But I also don't want to go straight to violence. Let's soft power our way out of this.
Wouldn't your wife disapprove?
My wife? Bloody hell, my wife. My tea'll be on the table at this hour.
Cool, we've reminded this man of the existence of his wife.
I'll get back, she'll be roaring. Until we meet again.
Hopefully not.
What a buffoon.
That's one way of saying it.
I should speak to the innkeeper about a room.
What's with the one pink plate?
A decorative plate. This one depicts a bull.
Why is it the only one that's pink?
A decorative plate depicting an eagle.
Oh, this is going to be a code or
A
something.
decorative plate depicting a serpent.
You have a serpent, a bull, an eagle.
A decorative plate. This one depicts a cat.
Cat.
A decorative plate. This one depicts
Dog.
a dog. A decorative plate
And a
depicting
bear.
a bear.
What's this
It's a
painting?
crudely painted scene that appears to
Wow,
be of a
judge
biblical
much?
nature.
Okay, let's just go and talk to the innkeeper.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, lass. How can I help you?
Let's check their rooms first.
I am in need of a room for the night.
Aye, we aren't short of those.
I mean, you're an inn, one would hope.
One night, is it?
I shall need at least 2 nights, maybe more.
Aye, 'tis not a problem. 3 shilling per night. That includes your dinner and tea.
A fair price.
And let's not even get on to arguing about what the word dinner means depending on where in the country you are.
I'll need that payment up front for the 2 nights.
Well, I just happen to have 6 and a bit shillings on me, so...
This is payment for the room.
Thank you. Can I ask for your name, lass?
I would love to know this.
Thomasina Bateman.
Thomasina.
And will Mr. Bateman be staying with us tonight?
No, I am not wed. My assistant is arriving in Beauty tomorrow.
Just stony silence at that.
Your assistant, you say? Will you be needing another room?
Please.
I'll keep a room spare. It's not quite as nice as yours, I'm afraid.
Not a problem, sir. I'm sure it will be adequate.
I don't pay him enough to care.
Kenneth is a man of inexpensive taste.
Or so I assure myself.
Here's your key. Just go through the door to the right of the bar, then up the stairs. Room number 2.
Thank you.
Can I help you with your luggage?
No, thank you, sir. I can manage.
I have like 1 bag.
I should go upstairs and freshen up before Mr. Shoulder arrives.
How do you know he's not here? Could be any of these random men. Hello,
Good
random
day,
man.
sir.
That man is dead. Oh no, the man appears to not be dead. Can I beat this man at either chess or drafts, whatever he's playing there?
Good afternoon, sir.
Note for you here.
I beg your pardon?
I said there's note for you here, lass. Be on your way.
Everybody here's so welcoming.
Charming. Hello, sir.
Let's just pester random people.
We are in the middle of a discussion here.
Sorry to interrupt.
But what if I want to be in the middle of your discussion? Fine. Can I steal this stag's head?
Poor thing.
Can I go to the
not
loos?
to use the lavatory.
Denied. Okay, let's just go to our room.
This shall do nicely. Time to change into something more comfortable.
Raise his eyebrow. Oh my god, you're gonna go downstairs in trousers and scandalise some Yorkshiremen to death.
Much better.
But first we have to steal everything from this room.
I've stored my case in there. A box within a box.
Are we not all at our core a box within a box?
As the only light
I don't
source
know
in
what
the
that
room,
means.
I
I'm just
ought to
saying
leave this
words.
here.
Can't steal the candle. But matches. Everyone loves matches.
Complementary matches. Useful. There's only one match left, though.
Everyone loves match. What does this plate
A
look like?
decorative plate depicting a goat.
Oh, they've put me in the goat room. That seems ominous. Oh, I just got an achievement for looking at all the plates.
I've hung my dress inside. Aside from that, the wardrobe is empty.
You brought one dress and one change of clothes. Come on. There's travelling light, but this is ridiculous. There's a jug of water here. Can I... Will it fit in my pocket?
This may come in handy.
It absolutely will fit in my pocket. This bowl.
I don't wish to carry the bowl around with me.
And yet you wanted to carry the jug around with you? Adventure game protagonists, I swear to God. Okay, let's go downstairs and see if we immediately get hate crimed. You there, innkeeper. Is my client here?
Miss Bateman, you've transformed.
I get that reaction a lot.
I feel far more comfortable in my outdoor clothing.
You look like one of those explorers you see in the newspaper.
I guess you could call me an explorer of sorts.
I'm Stanley. Stanley Kemp.
Didn't ask. Wait, I have a button for that.
Nobody asked!
Thank you.
A pleasure to meet you, Stanley.
And tell me, I trust your room is adequate.
Most adequate.
Excellent.
Tell me of yourself, Stanley.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Kemp.
That's what I said.
Well, I've been the proprietor of this inn for the last 16 years. I worked as a drover all over the country in my younger days. Saved up my coin and bought this place.
It's a fine inn.
Thank you. I often run short of ale, but my rooms are rarely full.
That sounds like a boast, and I'm not sure it is.
We don't get many outsiders wanting to stay overnight here in Bewley.
No outsiders, lots of people, lots of locals who just drink heavily, though, so... yeah. Swings and roundabouts. But this place, full of apparently very drunk men.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Aye, it's a quiet place. People keep to themselves, work hard.
I look forward to exploring the village tomorrow.
Because they wouldn't let me do it today.
There's not a lot to see, lass. But St. Edmund's Church is a fine building, worth a visit.
But anyway, what about this man with a ridiculous name?
I'm looking for a man named Leonard Shoulder.
Aye, I know the man.
I'm to meet him here tonight.
Can I get you something to drink while you wait?
Not yet, thank you.
I brought this jug of water with me. just sit in the corner drinking from a jug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Shoulder?
Ridiculous name aside.
Aye, he's a quiet fellow. He only comes here to check his post.
Yes, I've been corresponding with him using this address.
Have you now?
Okay, way to make that sound like a thing.
You found yourself an admirer.
Not quite.
What business do you have with old Leonard, then?
Again, let's...
Well, if you must know, I am what some people call a barrow digger.
So yeah, grave robber.
A what?
A barrow digger.
What in God's name is that?
It's fairly self-explanatory. You dig in barrows. For those of you who might not know, barrows are burial mounds. I realise saying it that I don't know how much of a, like, English and Northern European tradition those are. But hey, you've probably seen them referenced in other things. And if not, you should read Lord of the Rings.
Are you familiar with Tumuli?
Not often people pronounce it like that.
Afraid not.
Barrow is another word for tumulus, or tumuli in the plural.
You are making things less clear for this man.
A profoundly interesting subject.
You've lost me.
I excavate ancient burial sites, looking for relics.
The mask is coming further and further off this being grave robbing.
A barrow is traditionally a circular mound of raised earth enclosing a burial chamber.
Thomasina, I just explained this to the audience.
Oh, aye? You're a grave robber.
I am no such thing.
She is exactly such thing.
Don't worry, lass. I've met all sorts in here over the years. I won't tell anyone.
I mean, we're telling everybody just fine.
I assure you, my goal is more noble than petty grave robbery.
But is it, though?
What sort of relics do you find, then? Gold? Silver? Bones?
Like that voice clip, like how he pronounces bones?
Well, rarely gold or silver, but treasures certainly. Ancient pottery is the most common find. I've been excavating barrows all over the country. I'm documenting my findings in preparation for my book. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England.
Because I am incapable of saying anything in a straightforward way.
Oh, aye. Very interesting. But what does old Leonard have to do with this?
He sent me a letter in which he told me about an unusual barrow in Bewley, a site called Hobbs Barrow. I'm meeting him here this evening to find out more.
I've lived here nigh on my whole life, and I've heard nought about a Hobbs Barrow.
It's beginning to feel like we may be here under false pretenses.
Are you sure you've never heard of Hobbs Barrow?
Not in my life, lass. But I'll tell you something. The moors stretch further than the eyes can see once you leave this village. There's no doubt many a discovery to be made.
Mr. Shoulder said the barrow is well known locally, a place of legend.
I'm afraid you're going to have to speak to him about it. Why are you interested in digging around in the dirt, lass? Haven't you better things to do with your time?
Another question I hear a lot.
I enjoy nothing more than the thrill of discovery, uncovering the past and piecing together our history. I inherited this passion from my father.
Oh, a barrow digger too, were he?
Indeed. He would take me with him on excavations as a child.
Was this just before we invented the word archaeologist?
Does he still come with you now, on your own adventures?
I'm afraid my father's been bedbound by illness for many years.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, lass.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. He is well looked after at a private hospital. Thanks for your time.
Because, have I mentioned, we're rich as hell.
As you were.
Oh, you're new. Hello, old man. Old ghost of a Victorian... I don't know where I'm going with this riff. Let's just talk to this man.
Hello, sir.
Aye,
Do you know a Mr. Leonard Shoulder?
you're not local.
I mean, what gave it away? Was it the fact that I talk like this, or that I'm dressed like a Del Blanc sec?
You've come on that bloody train, haven't you?
No, walked across the moors.
Bewley's going to dogs.
Wow.
My name is Thomasina Bateman, and you are...
None of your business, lass.
People here are so friendly.
Where's your husband?
None of your business, sir.
Ah!
Yeah.
You're brave coming in
Accidental
here,
play.
all on your own.
I'm a grown woman.
I'm Cyril.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Cyril.
I invented the Russian alphabet. What do you hate about the railway?
I take it you are not enamored with the railway station.
Bewley's gonna be swarming with outsiders, like you.
This is another relic of said history of people not travelling much, as you get weirdly insular.
We don't want you coming here. It's as simple as that, lass.
Why not?
This is our town, our land.
I assure you, I am not here to cause trouble.
Just here to dig up said land.
We'll see about that, won't we?
But what's so special about this town?
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We're a proud community. I've lived here my whole life. Not much here to interest folks like you.
And yet, here I am.
Folks like me?
Aye.
I will not elaborate.
Do you know Mr. Shoulder?
That'd be none of your business, lass.
It's exactly my business. It's literally why I'm here.
I don't come to your city poking around asking questions, do I?
Maybe you should.
Man just wants to enjoy his ale in peace.
Bye for now.
Ta-ra, lass.
Mr. Shoulder should really
Also,
be here by
very
now.
particular northern speech feature there. Just that ta-ra for goodbye. Feels very familiar because, like I say, half of my family are from the Midlands or the North, depending on who you ask. But that's a whole other argument.
I'll sit down and wait.
Good plan. But hey, at least we met that hostile elderly ghost.
Where on earth is he?
Probably dead.
What a waste of time this is turning out to be.
Oh, it was the incredibly drunk man.
Not you again.
I just wanted to apologise for earlier.
As well you should.
I got home, had my tea, but it gave me an aching belly.
How so?
I felt bad for how I spoke to you.
As well you should.
I'm sorry. The drink gets a hold of me sometimes.
Let's start again, shall we?
My name is Arthur Tillett.
Okay, I thought he was going to be Leonard Shoulder.
Thomasina Bateman.
What brings you to Bewley, anyway?
I'm here to meet someone, but he has not arrived.
His loss, if you ask me.
Didn't.
Perhaps you know the gentleman, Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Completely non-name.
Oh, I know Mr. Shoulder all right. If I may be so bold as to say, he's a bit long in the tooth for you.
The relationship is not what you're implying. I've never met him. In fact, I know very little about him at all.
Get me an ale and I'll tell you all about the old sod.
I kind of don't feel comfortable giving him more alcohol.
I really don't think you need another.
Please,
No, you're already drunk.
come on, just one more.
Addict, am I right?
Don't you want to hear about old Leonard Shoulder?
Well, yes.
Wet my whistle and I'll tell you everything there is to know.
You drive a hard bargain, Mr. Tillett. As you wish.
Thank you very much,
Cool.
Miss
The
Bates.
illusion of choice.
How can I help you?
Beer, please.
A tankard of your finest ale, Mr. Kemp.
Look, at no point was quality assured. I think this calls for a tankard of your cheapest and weakest ale.
we are. 2p, please.
Thank you. This was the last of my money.
I was going to say, that is exactly how much money we had left, which is convenient.
But Kenneth will be here tomorrow with more funds.
And then, when he isn't, everyone will be surprised.
Please, Miss Bateman, I'll tell you.
Yes, I need to actually give you the ale. But what if I gave you this jug of water instead?
Here you are, Arthur. I think you should drink this.
Water?
Oh wow, there is actually a whole little scene for it.
I want to drink. Please.
Here you are, Arthur.
Thanking you.
Little bit of estuary in her accent there.
That does, lass.
This is me thinking far too much about language and accents and voice acting again, and just... Like, she's mostly kind of RP classic English, but there's a little bit of more modern estuary in there. Where is it? The way she pronounces it, Arthur. It's just like a little bit bleeding through from Essex or somewhere. But then, to be fair, estuary English has become the kind of the standard. Think about that what you will. Seriously, I have no strong opinion.
Now then.
Other than, don't criticize people's accents, I guess.
Old Len. Leonard Shaw.
Arthur?
Okay, that was a good comedy beat.
Mr. Tillett? Oh, for heaven's sake. The man is in a drunken stupor.
Now the jug of water. Methinks.
Oh, what the hell were that for?
It's a classic.
You passed out, Mr. Tillett.
Oh, sorry, lass.
I mean, at least he kind of acknowledges that rather than your standard, no, it was just a very long blink. And, you know, as a connoisseur of the long blink.
Oh, what a... Leonard Shoulder. Hold on another minute. I'm making for a piss.
This is the least productive conversation in the history of time. Everybody else just, you know...
This man is unbelievable.
Told me to piss off and didn't waste my time. And now he's unconscious in the toilet. And never returns.
It feels like an hour has passed.
You can tell by the change of light.
Perhaps I should go in there and check on him.
That sounds fraught with danger. But I guess we're doing it.
Miss Bateman? My apologies. The ladies are closed due to faulty plumbing. You'll have to use the gents.
I mean, that's where I was headed anyway.
Lovely.
Remember the good old days when we had gender-neutral toilets?
Mr. Tillett?
Okay, at toilets with threatening auras...
I would rather not get any closer. The smell of urine is nauseating.
Can I steal another jug?
The jug is empty.
Aww. Can I steal this towel?
It looks like the towel has not been washed in months.
Yeah, but can I steal it? Can I steal the sink?
The water looks highly questionable. I ought to keep my hands out of it.
I cannot steal anything. Let's open the cubicles and see if he's dead.
Mr. Tillett? Mr. Tillett, are you in there? Mr. Tillett, are you in there?
Cat scare, classic.
Well, you're not Mr. Tillett. The mangy thing is fast asleep.
Also, it looks like it may have some raccoon DNA.
I'd rather not touch it. The thing stinks to high heaven.
I mean, you did just kick it out of its home in a toilet. Fine, let's go out the back door.
The door.
What? Oh. I think that said blocked from the other
I
side.
can hear someone moving
Stupid
around.
twitchy fingers.
Mr. Tillett? Arthur, are you out there? Judging from the draft coming from below, this door must lead outside.
Also, the fact that it's got a transom, which you basically never see on internal
I should
doors.
investigate further.
Just saying.
I can't reach the window from down here.
Do we have anything we could use to do so? Not really. Now, can we steal the towel? No.
The door is blocked from the outside. I should go out and take a look.
Alright, just go out and walk around the inn. Good thinking. We could ask the innkeeper about, you know, a weird back door to the toilets, but let's certainly not use that phrase.
Excuse me, sir.
Mysterious man.
Sir? I don't wish to go knocking door to door.
Oh, I thought that was the back door of the pub again.
The old man has disappeared into the darkness. I'd best turn back to the inn.
Yeah, this absolutely feels like classic British folk horror. They've nailed the vibe here. The dark bits are a little hard to see, but you know, that's clearly intentional. Oh, sorry. Yeah, just for the record, we won't be running as long as usual on this stream. It's just it'll go till it stops going, basically. Probably still gonna finish around 5, so. Just FYI. Stretch and hydrate, good thoughts, before we go back to our room and something else wildly ominous happens. Because really that is the core of the folk horror vibe, is incredibly creepy and ominous things happen and everybody says you're the weirdo for noticing them.
Mr. Tillett has vanished. I should check outside.
I thought... Okay, so do we need to go another way around the inn?
The plough and furrow.
Yes, I know.
I have a bit of time before Mr. Shoulder arrives. I should inquire about a room.
No, we did that, Thomasine, to keep up.
I shouldn't wander too far. Mr. Shoulder may still show up and I don't wish to miss him.
I don't know where you want me to go, Thomasina. Ah, there's a separate thing for the alley rather than the exit. Good to know. That's a glove.
A pearly white gent's glove. It's certainly unlike anything Mr. Tillett was wearing.
So he was stolen by
Seems
a
rather out
magician?
of place here. Peculiar. Someone has wedged the door shut. Mr. Tillett, why would he have done that?
Stop you coming out. Stops it opening the other way.
Did Mr. Tillett leave, then block the door behind him?
I mean, it's that or he left and then somebody else blocked the door behind him. I don't know which seems more likely.
Something strange is going on here.
You think? Everybody is gone, apart from this very drunk man, who may be the guy.
Last orders.
I should get some sleep.
I have no idea how much some of the cultural reference in this mean to non-English viewers. And I know I have a bunch of non-English viewers.
Finding the missing men of Bewley shall have to wait for tomorrow.
So hey, if you understand none of what's going on, let me know, I guess. Answers on a postcard.
Kenneth will be arriving tomorrow at midday. I should get some sleep.
I mean, every other man you've waited for hasn't arrived. What makes you so sure Kenneth will? Yes. Let us go bed, we sleepy. Actually... yeah. No.
Yes, I must get some sleep. I shall track down Mr. Shoulder tomorrow.
Still, such a normal name.
Yes?
Off to bed?
No, I thought I'd just go in here and look at the stairs for a while.
Yes. I'm afraid Mr. Shoulder's let me down.
The rotter. Perhaps he will make himself known tomorrow.
I should hope so. This is turning into a waste of my time.
Ah, don't mind the locals, miss. It's just that we don't get a lot of visitors in Bewley.
Quite.
They mean well, believe me.
Sure, Mr. Kemp.
Please, call me Stanley.
Good night, Stanley.
Sleep well, Miss Bateman.
Any chance Stanley isn't evil? Any chance? Ah, the night when everything turns blue. That's how they marketed... Oop. Don't like that. Do not like that. At least it's only the cat, question mark. Look at that chonker go. The lighting on this is actually fantastic. Yeah. Okay, that's the thing we all experienced. First day, Adventus. It means the arrival. Again, this is such a 70s and 80s horror thing, just that title card and synth noise.
Such horrid dreams.
But they were very well animated. Very nice pseudo lighting on that pixel art, to say words you would not understand.
Bolted from the inside, just as I left it last night.
As well you should in this incredibly creepy town.
As I suspected. I must say, I'm relieved.
Oh, I think I just clicked. As I expected, I must have dreamed of that wretched cat, I think that was.
Right then. Let's see if I can track down the elusive Leonard Shoulder.
Totally normal name.
I'm rather anxious to get to this barrow.
That may or may not exist.
I also wonder what happened to Mr. Tillett.
Dead. Can I take this candle stub?
The candle has melted. It's not much use anymore. Perhaps Mr. Kemp will replace it this evening.
I feel like that's something you should find out before this evening.
Good morning, Miss Bateman.
Good day, Stanley.
Did you sleep well, Miss Bateman?
No. Both me as character and me as person. But then, when do I ever sleep well? But still, don't want to leave a scathing Yelp review already.
Yes, thank you, Stanley.
Splendid.
Nod and smile, nod and smile.
I'm happy to report the rain of yesterday has lifted. It's a clear morning outside. Crisp. I've prepared a room for your assistant. What time will he be arriving?
His train will get in around midday. Kenneth will also be bringing my excavation equipment.
Oh, aye. What does that entail?
Spades.
Picks, shovels, buckets, lighting and such.
Admit sleep is good? Yes. I will freely admit that sleep is good, and at this point I kind of wish I could get more of it. Maybe I'm also being interrupted in the middle of the night by an evil cat and just forgetting about it. If so, who's letting this cat into my house? Stop it.
He usually packs it in a large crate. Come to think of it, I'll need somewhere to store it.
You're welcome to use the alley behind the inn for any such bulky items.
Just leave your luggage outside. Sure, it'll be fine. Be fine.
Is it safe to do such a thing?
Just because I was saying it.
I can assure you the local folk are not thieves, Miss Bateman.
Murder cultists? Possibly. Thieves? Nah.
That's not what I...
Now, say nothing more of it.
Thank you, Stanley.
I'll let you get on with your day.
Say nothing more of it, by which I mean agree with me, or I shall browbeat you further.
I'll be back with my assistant when he arrives.
Miss Bateman?
Yes?
Yes?
Oh, I thought I'd
I
clicked.
wish to get off my chest, as it were. I've been tossing and turning all night, Miss Bateman. I feel rotten, I really do.
Nobody asked!
What on earth are you talking about?
As you know, I like to run an honest establishment. And well, I have not been honest with you, lass.
Then how do I know you like to run an honest establishment if you are not honest when you told me that?
I do know of Hobbs Barrow.
Shocker.
You do?
I do. Many here do. There are stories tied to that place, you know. If I've learned anything in this life, it's that some stones are best left unturned.
Some of them have centipedes.
Old Leonard Shoulder is someone to be wary of too.
On account of he's called Leonard Shoulder?
I can't tell you what to do, lass, but you'd best avoid him.
But why?
Why must I be wary of Mr. Shoulder?
The man has a certain reputation.
For what?
You've seen it already. Were he here to meet you last night?
No.
Precisely. A man not to be trusted.
Yeah, but just because he's a flake doesn't mean he is completely practically worthless.
Where does Mr. Shoulder live?
I can't say for sure.
This town has like 7 houses.
As I think I told you last night, he's a quiet man and he only comes in here to collect his post. Leads me to believe he lives a fair distance away. Certainly not in the village itself.
Might someone around Bewley be able to help me find him?
You could ask around. As I say, lass, Bewley folk mean well.
It's just sometimes we mean well while telling you to piss off and then running away from you.
Don't forget that.
But about this thing you've been lying about.
Why lie to me about Hobbs Barrow?
I know, lass, I know. I feel dreadful.
But why? What are these stories you speak of?
I really can't tell you more. If you insist on visiting that place, you'll have to seek out Mr. Shoulder.
It was already what I was doing.
He brought you here. He should be the one to tell you.
I must say, Mr. Kemp, this is all quite puzzling. I've never let local superstitions stop me in the past. I pride myself on being...
Yeah.
As I say, seek
Pride
out
myself
Mr.
on being a
Shoulder.
woman of logic and
I
reason.
can tell you more.
Where is Hobbs Barrow?
I don't know. I say that on my mother's grave, Miss Bateman.
I now find that hard to believe.
The moors are vast, lass. I'd tend not to go wandering out there. A grown man could lose himself and not be seen again.
I shall return later.
Good day to you, lass. Oh, if you see Herbert around here, Be sure
Just
to
one more
feed him.
thing, 14 times.
Herbert?
A local stray cat.
Oh yeah, he ate my soul
He
last night, it
comes
was
in
fine.
now and then searching for scraps. I'm sick of cleaning his vomit off the floor.
Quite.
I mean, when you own an inn, I feel like vomit on the floor is fairly par for the course.
I'll be sure not to feed him.
Thank you.
Oh, are we done? Okay, I think we're done. So I'm going to save. Let's treason. And then I'm going to look again because I have anxiety. And then we're going to leave it there for a few minutes because I also shall return later. I need to run some ads, get some more water, just move around a bit so I don't fall asleep on you all, frankly. And yeah, I recommend all of you do the same. Have some water or a drink of your choice. Have a snack. Take your meds if you need to. Hug someone who's real. Say hello to someone you love, I guess. I don't know. Do whatever you want in the next 3 minutes, but it would be nice if you let the ad run. Okay. Took me far too long to find that button. Love you all. See you in a few. And we're back. Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's been enjoying this minimalist ambiance. Unless you're on the VOD, in which case I cut all of that out, so get wrecked, question mark? Resume. Okay, let's go out and actually look around Bewley, where it is a lovely clear day, unlike here.
It seems I may be fighting a battle against some sort of local superstition.
Wow. Partially obscured by my head, we see here the loosest man in Britain.
Is there a single barrow in England that doesn't have some ghastly tale attached to it?
They're burial mounds. Of course they've got ghost stories. Oh no, people have spooky stories about this grave.
Hogwash. All of it. I've a few hours until Kenneth arrives.
This just in. People make up stories when the observable world impacts, like, kind of intersects with the numinous, and death is one of the classic places that happens.
I should use this time to find Mr. Shoulder.
Completely normal name. Map unlocked. Game saved. Yeah. Why do we need the eye close-up? Okay, so it's not a map so much as just a thing of a set of fast travel points. That's cool. But let's talk to this incredibly louche man. Actually, let's take a second, because that picture just reminded me. I was just having thoughts earlier about horror, about styles of horror. I think about this a lot. And just the kind of... There's something very visceral about these close-ups they're doing of kind of picking out, trying to get such photorealistic detail of all of the unpleasant little bits of faces, and it's like, for a second you thought that the eye was the fast travel map and that would be incredibly cool. You're not wrong. But at the same time, that would run the risk of abstracting it too much, which ties into what I'm saying. It's like, it's body horror, but it's the other kind of body horror. Because most of the time when people say body horror, it's... The genre tends to very much focus on horror happening to the body. So, I don't know, you're Alien, and you know what I mean, Tetsuo, yeah. You know what body horror is, I don't need to explain it to you. But this is the other kind of body horror that's about the horror of the body. It's about seeing the body as object rather than alternate subject, if that makes sense. It's not seeing person, it's seeing meat. Which, like, it's the same thing but taken from the other direction. Makes me wonder if you need a different... Should that be body terror? Like the AJJ song. I don't know. These are just thoughts I was having. Anyway, should we talk to this incredibly shady man?
Hello?
Just end conversation, just hello. Stony silence. Cool. Bye.
My name is Thomasina, and you are...
Now then, that's none of your concern, love.
What do you do around here?
Hey up, you're not scared of sticking your neb in.
Oh no, if this was on a if this was on, like, a TV version of this, he would be played by somebody unnecessarily hot, wouldn't he? I don't know, it just... You get the feeling.
I look after the churchyard. Dig the graves.
I mean, that's also our job.
What can you tell me about the church?
Aye, it's a church.
So helpful, thank you.
Quite.
That is all we're getting.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
Does anybody know a man named Leonard Shoulder? Has there ever been a man named Leonard Shoulder?
I don't know out about no Leonard Shoulder.
What can you tell me about Hobbs Barrow?
I'm gonna go with nothing.
Not to be found digging around in those things.
At least he acknowledges it exists.
You know of local barrows, then?
Don't concern yourself.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Not much around here, love. Not worth mentioning to you, like.
I see. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Anything else? Anything new in this alley?
I
There's
could
some
tether
kitchen
a horse here
posts.
if I had one.
Why don't you have a horse? Honestly, Thomasina, why didn't you bring a horse? Why didn't you keep that bit of wood? That would have come in
I
handy,
suspect the
probably.
barrels are empty. Otherwise, the locals would be rolling them into their cellars.
I don't know, we were assured that nothing could be stolen from this alley. Exiting to the right would just take us back out onto the moors. Hello, child and young woman. Let us talk to non-child first.
Good day.
Hello, miss.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Betty.
Wow, somebody actually offers their name.
Nice to meet you, Betty.
Without any kind of threat.
What are you up to?
My brother is practicing his sword fighting technique. I'm to watch him until he tires himself out. I'm tireless! This time last month it were all about his teaspoon collection.
ADHD.
This month it's swords.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
Wasn't sure if that dog barking was outside or in my headphones there for a second, because we regularly have a very loud dog around here.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because that's not a name.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Our parents don't like us talking to strangers, miss.
I mean, you already gave me your name, so if I was one of the Fae, you'd already be down there.
So you know of it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye, miss.
That was productive, question mark. Sarcasm mark. Hello, blacksmith man.
Good day.
Yes?
My name is Thomasina.
George Crozier.
Again, people who give their names and don't just tell me to piss off. It's lovely.
Can I help you?
Are you a Bewley native, Mr. Crozier?
Aye, born and bred.
That was a good show. Born and Bred was a weekly drama also set in Yorkshire on the BBC when I was like 12. It ran for a few years. I really liked it. this has been your random, purposeless anecdote.
That's where my father's forge before mine.
How is business faring?
I do an honest trade. There'll always be horses needing shoes and farmers needing tools. You let me know if you need out made or mended. I'll do you a fair price.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier.
That work's always a useful trade. People like having things made.
Do you know a man by the name of Leonard Shoulder?
It just gets me every time. This completely normal name.
Oh, aye. Old Leonard.
Have you seen him recently?
No, not recently.
Do you know where he lives?
Why all these questions, lass?
I need to speak with him. He invited me to Bewley.
Oh, he'll turn up. I've seen him in the plough and furrow from time to time.
But do you know where he lives? I need to find him.
I believe he lives somewhere out on the moors.
Great.
Can't tell you out more than that.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier.
Okay, we've got it narrowed down to the entire Yorkshire Moors. So, that's something, I guess.
Do you know of a local landmark named Hobbs Barrow?
There's a fair many barrows found out on the moors, lass. Too many to put a name to. Not a soul in Bewley pays them any mind.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We don't get many visitors here, outside of market days. But there's plenty of work for the village blacksmith.
I mean, yeah, you just said that.
Where are you from, then?
I arrived yesterday on the train from London, by way of Derby.
Just saying, Americans. Derby. That's how you say it. No, I'm not here to rag on anybody's accents, but apparently I will. I'm not consistent, you know that.
Oh, aye. I've heard about London.
What have you heard?
Plenty of factories there.
Yes, indeed. The city is always changing and moving forward.
Too busy for me, though, lass. I prefer a quieter pace. Aye.
When do market days run in Bewley?
Once or twice a month. The next one is tomorrow.
How delightful.
Convenient.
Unless your vice is cabbages, there'll be naught to interest a young lady.
What if it is? What if Kenneth is coming up and he's just got suitcases full of cabbages for me?
I don't mind a cabbage.
See?
Then you're in luck.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Just grabbing a cabbage and just biting into it. Like, Season 1 of Game of Thrones, Daenerys eating a stallion's heart. That, but with a cabbage. There's your image for today. A fossil.
A fantastic specimen. Alas, it is not mine to take.
No, but you're an adventure game protagonist. That jug wasn't yours to take. What about this bucket? Can I take it yet? Boo. Random houses. Random houses. Knock on doors of random houses. Something will occur.
Bugger off!
Such as, for example, that.
Ah, the unmistakable charm of old Cyril.
Can we get a new Cyril? Our old Cyril is busted.
I don't think anyone is home.
Out onto the moors. Which we will try and continue pronouncing as moors and not cede to local pressure and go with moors. Hello, old woman. Miss Not a Witch.
Hello. Good day. Would you like to buy one of these cakes, pet?
What cake?
What kind of cakes do you have?
I have some lovely Bakewell puddings. The sweetest marriage of almond and jam.
I can tell you're not from around here, because if you were, you would know about my Bakewell puddings. They are quite famous.
Alas, I'm not carrying any money with me.
That's unfortunate, pet. I'm sorry, I can't give them away for free. The money goes to the church, you see, and one cannot shirk one's duty to the church.
I do it every day.
I understand. My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Mrs. de Plancy.
A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. de Plancy.
Likewise, pet.
Tell me about yourself, Mrs. de Plancy.
About me? What would you possibly want to know about me?
Well, I mean, the "der" there suggests you're probably descended from French aristocracy, so that sounds interesting.
I've been attending St. Edmund's Church my whole life.
What could you possibly want to know about me? But anyway, here's my entire life.
I always want to help where I can, so I sell my baked goods, and all the proceeds go to its
Not to mention local knowledge, absolutely.
This place means so much to me.
Your cakes look delicious.
I can assure you they are. You'll not find better in the entire county.
What can you tell me about St. Edmund's Church?
Isn't it the finest building? It's been standing here since the 12th century. The box pews in the nave are very fine and date back to the 17th century. The door is open if you'd like to worship.
I wouldn't, but I would like to go in because this is just me speaking. I like a good church. I do this a lot, going to small towns, all over England. You just go in the old church and have a look around. Just church. I like the architecture.
Thank you, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you know a local man called Leonard Shoulder?
Extremely normal.
Yes, I know Leonard. What business do you have with him?
It's a long story, but I'm trying to find where he lives.
Cool. Want to make that sound any dodgier?
I'm afraid I don't know, dear. Father Roach has access to the parish register. He might be able to help you.
Data security, question mark? Before we invented that.
What can you tell me about Father Roach?
It's Papa. Damn it, I just thought of that, and now it's going to just be killing me every time he is mentioned all game.
He is a lovely man and an exemplary servant of the Lord. He's been the vicar of St. Edmund's for many years.
Now I want to hear Last Resort done in a turn-of-the-century Yorkshire accent. Or a modern Yorkshire accent.
Where can I find Father Roach?
At this time of day, he'll be taking his
Cut my life into
exercise in
pieces.
Herne Wood, to the west of the village.
There's a bit more Midlands than North, anyway. I mean, specifically, I say a Yorkshire accent, specifically I would like to hear Last Resort done in the style of Jake Thackeray. Because, I mean, for one thing, me saying this is making people think, who's that? And look Jake Thackeray up, which you should, because he's great. One of the great underappreciated singer-songwriters of this country, frankly.
Thank you. I'll go find him.
Be sure to listen out for his...
For his merry whistling, that was. Of course, I wasn't actually listening,
Where can
so...
I find Father...
At this time of
Herne Wood to the west of the
Thank
village.
you, Miss-
Okay.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Hobbs what?
Hobbs Barrow, a local burial mound.
The only place of burial I know about and care for is in this very churchyard.
Thank you for your time.
Just Stonewall.
Lord be with you.
Unlikely, but you know. I'll take all the help I can get.
Goodness me, look at these box pews. I've never seen any as tall as that before.
Yeah, they are dramatic.
Most unusual architecture, even for the Normans.
What, the box pews? I mean, didn't she say they were more recent? And the actual architecture looks fairly typical of Norman churches I've been in. Anyway. There's a necklace here, let's just steal it. Adventure game,
Someone has
protagonist.
left a necklace hanging here. A silver cross. Sterling by the look of it.
Just to praise
Maybe
it
I can
before you
reunite
seal
it
it.
with its owner.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you're planning to do, isn't it, Thomasina?
The flowers have long since dried out. I don't want them.
Also, you shouldn't just steal flowers from a memorial.
A memorial list of former vicars. They stretch back several hundred years. I can admire the craftsmanship from afar. I've no time for such things.
Wow. So we can't look at it any more closely? Dang.
Locked. Locked as well.
Well, that's where you need to do some thrilling
I think they all
athletics.
might be.
I think they all might be, aka stop clicking the box views. Cool. In there was nothing. Apart from, I guess, in theory, God. Where does this door go?
It's locked.
Who can say? Anyway, I should be looking for Hernwood. I assume west is to the left, and we're keeping that convention. Yeah. These close-ups have so much animation. Yeah.
Very sorry.
Again, there's a very specific folk horror film feel to having this music as the ominous, just this kind of endless drone with occasional voice interjections. Which is the kind of music I would listen to anyway, but yeah. It's just that sense of slight dissociation.
Oh, the shame. This malaise will not pass. Oh, the nausea.
There's your reaction image.
I need your help, young lady.
Somebody makes a bad take on Twitter. The malaise will not pass. Oh, the nausea.
Tell me what you need.
Let the blood from my arm.
Counter suggestion, no?
Excuse me?
Got me. I beg you.
Well, do I have a blade on me? No. Can I steal your vomit?
I'm not going near it. It smells disgusting.
That's because it's vomit. I've got your glasses.
Ouch! The broken lens is extremely sharp.
There we go. And that's why we have this glove.
Perhaps I shouldn't risk soiling this glove until I find its owner.
Okay, not the glove. Weird Village vibes increasing. I mean, yeah, what is British folk horror if not Weird Village vibes? Fine then, handkerchief.
This handkerchief was a gift from my mother. I hope she will understand. This should work.
Handkerchief full of glass. Stab the vicar with the glass, because he told us
You
to.
want me to do this?
Yes, it will cure me of my ills.
No, it won't.
I shall do as you ask, Father.
Okay, I like that even in a game with a strong commitment to these close-ups and body terror, didn't actually show us that. That's very much appreciated. Thank you, game. Because there we're running into my actual triggers.
God bless you.
Everyone.
I already feel quite better.
I'm glad, Father.
The rapid healing properties of bloodletting cannot be overstated.
Editor's note. They absolutely can.
I'm Frederick Roach, Vicar of St. Edmund's Church.
And I'm an interloper.
My name is Thomasina Bateman. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Tell me for yourself.
Are you feeling better?
Yes, thank you.
What ails you, Father Roach?
I just ate a rotten berry, that's all.
I don't believe you.
I like to pick blackberries for my supper, you see. They are quite delicious, as long as you mind the bramble. My apologies again. I wish we had met in different circumstances.
Are you from Bewley originally?
I was born in our very own St. Edmunds. It's quite the story.
Is it?
Do tell.
My mother was sheltering there as a frightful tempest raged. And lo, did her waters break right there and then in that pew.
This sounds like such a rehearsed speech that it's inches away from being an iambic pentameter.
One could say that you were born into your role, Father.
Of baby.
Indeed. When my mother told me the story as a young boy, I knew that this was my calling.
And that's why everybody who's been born in a hospital goes on to be a doctor.
St. Edmund's is a fine building.
Thank you for saying so. It's hard work keeping her in good shape, but our congregation is always willing to lend a hand in the Lord's name.
What is it like being the vicar here?
Every day is a blessing, my child. I have a great love for our parish, and the Lord looks after us.
Every day is a bless. I know I'm just kind of overanalyzing everything because I know this is folk horror going in. But that's such a two-sided possible answer to that question, because it could be, yes, every day is great, or it could be, I should by rights be dead already. So, you know, every day is a gift.
What about your congregation?
Numbers have fallen over the years, I must say. But those that remain are faithful and full of his spirit.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Ask about Leonard last.
I can't say I've heard of it.
It's supposedly a famous local landmark.
I'm afraid I know nothing about it.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
It's a quiet town. The railway line, which I presume you arrived by, is the only news of note we've had here for years.
I've heard the new station has received a mixed reaction.
I've heard many a debate, it's true. But my role is not to adjudicate on that matter. I'm very busy in my own work, you see.
I'm looking for Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, yes?
Go ahead, click.
Are you a relative?
No, it's a long story, but he invited me to Bewley.
And he didn't tell you his address?
He was to meet me last night at the Plough and Furrow, but he never came.
I see. Well, let me welcome you to Bewley on his behalf.
Thank you, Father. Do you know where Mr. Shoulder lives?
Let me think. It's been many moons since I've paid him a visit.
Perhaps you could allow me to take a look at the parish register.
I'm not sure if I'd know. So I won't try.
No need. I remember it now.
No, as soon as you might look at paperwork, no, it's fine, I know all of this, coincidentally.
A fair hike across the moors.
Could you please give me directions?
I'll take you there myself. It's the least I can do after you aided me so.
Capital. Thank you.
Just let me know when you're ready to pay him a visit. I'll be resting here for the time being.
With my puddle of vomit and my broken glasses.
Thank you for your time.
Lord be with you.
I think there were still a few other places we wanted to investigate, right? I could be wrong. See, this is the problem with games with nice, very chill, ambient soundtracks, especially when I'm tired anyway, is I just fade for a moment. So, as and when that has happened, I apologise. No, actually, I think we have checked everywhere. Or we just go walking into the malls on our own. Apparently we can do that. Oh, hey, it's some creepy children.
Good day, little one. What's your name?
Hello, miss.
That's a strange name.
I'm Jane and this is my brother Wally.
Lovely to meet you. I'm Thomasina.
I'd introduce you to my dolls, but they're drying out at the moment.
This is a lovely little beck.
It's where we get our water, miss. It's good for drinking and cleaning.
That's what we traditionally use water for. I assume you're not using it to cool any nuclear reactors.
Your dolls look lovely, Jane.
Thank you, miss. I love them very much. Today was their bath day.
Have you heard of a place called Hobbs Barrow?
Jane!
No, miss.
They're being very subtle about this.
Are you sure?
I swear.
Do you know an old man called Leonard Shoulder?
No, miss.
Goodbye.
Bye, miss.
Productive. Another vessel.
Hey! Stay away from that!
Aw.
Don't touch it!
But it's a cool thing in the rocks, that's what I do.
It's bad luck to touch the Yaman's horn. I'm serious.
Fine.
Okay. Right, let's go to Mr. Shoulder's house. House of the Shoulder.
I'm ready to go to Mr. Shoulder's house.
Excellent. I feel the fresh air will do me well. Follow me.
We just came all this way.
Good morning, Father.
Yes, you are not wrong with the stretch reminder, thank you. Oh.
Good morning, Mrs. Duplancy. Mrs. Duplancy, this is Thomasina Bateman,
As well you know.
a visitor to our parish.
We've already had the pleasure of meeting, Father.
Excellent. Miss Bateman, don't hesitate to try one of Mrs. Duplancy's wonderful cakes.
Yes, I've heard about her famous Bakewell puddings.
I'll be here all day, young lady. But remember, once they're gone, they're gone. Those little whelps have already gobbled up all the gingerbread.
You are doing God's work, Mrs. Duplancy.
He smiles upon us, Father.
Miss Bateman, if you'd like to follow me. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs.
That literally is in iambic pentameter. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs.
Make dust our paper, and with
Yeah.
rainy
I
eyes
think he's quoting.
write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors, and talk of wills.
Shakespeare?
Quite.
Ah.
Which play?
It's not Macbeth. Probably more likely Richard II than Hamlet.
Richard II.
Correct.
Yeah.
You are well read, Miss Bateman.
Thank you.
Studying the work of the bard is one of my favorite pastimes. Follow me. Behold, the vast expanse of God's creation. The moors extend as far as the mortal eye can see.
Because comparatively, the mortal eye cannot see that far.
Beautiful, is it not?
Indeed, the moors are beautiful.
Speaking from personal taste.
The beauty of God's creation is that it takes so many forms. How can one take in such a view and not have faith? Some look at these moors and think this a godless land. But I tell you, he is found in all domains.
And yeah, no, I had a joke there that was at best half-formed.
The Lord's work is all about us. Tell me, Miss Bateman, do you believe in God?
Tell the truth, he seems prepared to hear it, or lie to avoid a tense situation. Ah, let's just go for it. He's a vicar, he's probably had worse.
I was brought up Anglican. The church was an important part of my early life, Father Roach. But what happened to my father eventually made me question things.
If you don't mind me asking, my child, what happened to your father?
He had an accident when I was very young.
Sorry, I went a bit there. But it's flashback time now. Yeah, close-ups.
Come along now, Thomasina. Let's get out of the rain.
My mother back when she looked a lot like we do as an adult.
Remember what I told you, all right? Be a good girl. People are unwell here. They don't want to hear you running about making noise. Understood?
Yes, Mother.
Good. And don't annoy the nurses.
But I do it so well.
I promise I won't.
Good. Now, let's see your father.
Well, this is fun. Well, folks, I know I said we'd probably be running a bit shorter than usual, and honestly, I think that might be now. Because, yeah, like I say, I am operating on some fairly major sleep deprivation at the minute. And you could tell, as I say, I was fading quite often in that. I'm digging this so far, though. I know we're very much only in setup, but looking forward to getting some more of it. So, yeah, I think it's time to do the wrap-up. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for staying all the way to the end. If you have, it means a lot. If you... if you're watching this, you know where to find me, but just in case, this is twitch.tv/Serasent, that's SERASENT, the House of Hubris, broadcasting every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, nominally at 2 PM, but subject to change depending on my brain. If you want to know when we have changed or when we are around, then why not throw us a follow? Gets you free notifications whenever I'm online. Also, if you do miss anything, VODs are on the Twitch for 8 weeks after the fact. For everything else, there's the YouTube. Check the link down there, says VOD Archive, or that is youtube.com/@houseofhubris, where you can find VODs going all the way back to the very start of the channel. That's over 2 years now. So there's a lot of content there, so there'll probably be something for you. And if there isn't, let me know what would be. And I make no promises. What else? What else? While you're there, why not throw us a subscription on YouTube? Doesn't cost you anything, and gets you hot, fresh VODs in your subscription feed every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or at least when I start uploading them again. Everything's been on hiatus, but hopefully we should be starting that up again soon to make me not a liar when I advertise it. If you feel like supporting me listening to this woman cry financially, you can, of course, cheer or subscribe on Twitch, but very much not necessary. Just turn up and hang out and be chill and be good to each other, and then everybody's having a good time. I think that's about it. So, yeah. Again, love you all, and see you again for more Barrow excavation. Of a Barrow that may or may not exist, depending on who you ask, on Thursday, when I will hopefully be a little bit more conscious. Alright, love you all. See you then. Bye-bye.